And this month marks the end of an era. WWE will be ending all future home video releases in North America at the end of this year. This according to a report on WWEDVDnews.com. WWE has been putting out home videos going back to the Coliseum video days, all the way back in 1985. They have an entire section devoted to them on the network. The report states that while no specifics have been given regarding the move, the why is pretty obvious, and in the end will boil down to revenue. I love it. Budget cuts. Not even the DVDs are safe from budget cuts. It says that, coupled with the company putting less emphasis on DVD and Blu-ray in recent years and focusing more on content for the network, are, reasons why this move is happening. It says the final DVDs will be the 2021 Survivor Series and a Best of Drew McIntyre compilation. So that said, the rise and fall of ECW is probably the best DVD documentary they ever produced. I still have my free ECW skull cap, my ECW beanie that came with my copy of the DVD. That and the 3-disc Bret Hart set are my favorite of the DVDs that I've bought from them over the years. But I still have a lot of those old Coliseum videotapes. The oldest one that I own is, and it's, the case that it's in is pretty banged up, but it's the Hulkster, Hulk Hogan. They released a whole bunch of Hulk Hogan VHS tapes all throughout the 80s into the early 90s. This was one of the first ones, I think, that they produced. It's just called the Hulkster, Hulk Hogan. It's got a blue cover. It's got a picture of him with the old championship, like the, this is the title that I think, I'm trying to think which title that was. It was the really small looking belt. I don't think they had it for very long. Was it it wasn't the Hogan 86 belt. So it was for a brief period in 85 when they had this belt. But that's what's on the cover. He's got that belt around his waist, and they've got the Iron Sheik match where he won the title from him in Madison Square Garden. They have the rematch between Hogan and Sheik, where I believe Hogan bled. They have a cage match on there for the title with Hogan defending against Don Morocco. I remember popping that tape in quite often. I've got the first 4 WrestleManias. The 4th one is a double tape where when you open it up, there's this giant pop-up of Hogan's giant balding head. There are a lot of people who still enjoy physical media and are not big on streaming and digital downloads, but it's a dying medium. I own a lot of VHS tapes and DVDs and CDs. I've gotten rid of some, but I plan to keep most of them. I just like knowing I still have them. But I know I'm a dinosaur when it comes to that stuff, and a lot of younger people are never going to understand how exciting it was when you were younger to go to the store and look for that tape, look for that CD. Even the idea of going to a store to buy something is a dated concept to a lot of people today. Why go to a store when you can just buy it on Amazon or you can use an app on your phone? That's the way of the world now. That Full Metal album that WWE put out back in, 96 probably, right? 95, 96. It was the first album they put out in years. And I remember I couldn't find that thing anywhere. It was sold out everywhere. I even had my mother out there looking for it. She's the one who finally found it for me. It was some local music shop because it was sold out everywhere else. Imagine my disappointment when I popped that CD in to listen to Shawn Michaels' theme song and I realized it didn't sound anything like the arena version. It sounded awful. And there was no Twitter back then to go and complain about it. There was only RSPW. That was it. But I don't think I can adequately explain to our younger listeners the excitement that I would get to go to the store and search, even like Toys R Us. Back when I was younger and I would buy the WWF action figures, the LJN figures, and then later on it was the Hasbros. When they would come out with a new series, just to go to Toys R Us or KB Toys before they went out of business and got liquidated, we would walk into the store and my mother would lose sight of me. I knew exactly where the wrestling figures were relative to everything else. I would make a beeline for that section, and you would go, it was past the Ninja Turtles toys. You would go, and it was like this glowing light like a spotlight shone on all the wrestling figures. It was like Christmas. You would walk in there and just see that. It was like Christmas. And I guess people get excited in different ways these days, but I do remember those days. It was kind of the same way with the tapes. But you got WWE getting out of the DVD business at the same time that Impact is going back to VHS. It's true. And shout out to Dylan and Luke. I did get your emails. Impact came out with a limited edition double VHS cassette for this year's Slammiversary pay-per-view with the Kenny Omega Sami Callihan main event for $25, and it sold out almost instantly. Now, we don't know how limited this limited run was. I mean, they may have made 50 of them for all we know. But they did sell out, and that does not surprise me at all. I mean, look, limited edition collector's items are a big deal. Nostalgia sells. There is a market for this kind of vintage stuff. There's a lot of people who still buy vinyl records. I doubt anybody who bought that VHS bought it to watch on their VCR, if they even own a VCR. They probably won't even take it out of the box. It was an experiment worth trying, and it looks like it paid off for them, and they'll be doing more of them in the future. Impact could use some good news. Their Thanksgiving Day episode, and look, I get that it's Thanksgiving Day, and most wrestling shows tend to dip around the holidays. But that episode of Impact Wrestling on Thanksgiving did 48,000 viewers on Access TV. Less than 50,000 people watched that television show. That is awful. Any day of the year, that is awful. For a company that in another lifetime once did over 2 million viewers. I think they've got bigger problems than selling VHS tapes.